What on earth is going on at Ibrox? The team's collapsing, the stadium's emptying, and now there's talk of a Premier League-bound goalkeeper, a shock new manager picked by American owners, and a forgotten striker dreaming of a return in royal blue. Want to see these and more Rangers news? Stay until the end. We are the people. Hey, you've just watched one of the worst Rangers performances ever served up at Ibrox, and believe me, that's no exaggeration. The stadium that used to shake with noise and pride emptied out quicker than the pies at half-time. 5 home defeats in a row, not 1, not 2, not even 4, 5. That's not just a slump, that's a crisis in royal blue. Conor Barron's words might have been honest, but they were damning. He stood there trying to shoulder the blame, admitting what you've felt in your gut for weeks now. It's unacceptable, and he's right. You pay good money, and I mean top dollar, to walk through those turnstiles, and in return you're served up a team that looks like it's mentally checked out before the match even kicks off. Hibs didn't just win, they strolled it. The Leith lot turned up at Ibrox like they owned the place. Martin Boyle was running riot. Rocky Bashiri was flinging himself in front of everything like his life depended on it. And their keeper, Jordan Smith, he could have brought a deck chair and sunglasses. It was that comfortable. Now contrast that with Rangers. Jack Butland, a keeper we pinned our hopes on, looked like a man haunted. Another howler, another goal through the gloves. It's happening every week now. The defense, a paper wall. 14 goals conceded in 7 games under Ferguson. No clean sheet in 10. It's as if we're handing out goals like raffle tickets. And up top, Cyril Dessers. I don't want to be cruel, but when you're gnome, 9 needs 10 shots to score once, you've got a major problem. 3 big chances missed before half-time alone. When you've got European giants like Athletic Bilbao rolling into town in a matter of days, that kind of wastefulness just doesn't cut it. And here's the real kicker. The lads can turn it on when they fancy it. Big away win in Turkey, beats Celtic at their own midden, but when it's the bread and butter, when it's time to dig in at Ibrox, they crumble like a cheap Empire biscuit. You can't trust them, not at Ibrox, not where it used to matter most. If this squad somehow went on and won the Europa League, would you still want most of them anywhere near the club next season? Well then, if you thought the heat around Ibrox couldn't get any hotter, here comes the real bombshell. The 49ers Enterprises, those American investors who are poised to take full control of the club, have reportedly already decided who the next Rangers manager should be. And guess what? Word is, it's Barry Ferguson. Now take a second to let that settle in. Despite that utterly soul-destroying 2-0 defeat to Hibs, the 5th straight home loss, mind you, there's growing belief among some inside and outside the club that Barry Ferguson might be the guy. Not just a temporary fix, not just a sentimental pick, but the man to lead Rangers forward under a new American regime. You've got Keith Jackson going all in, claiming Ferguson's got what money can't buy, that deep, ingrained understanding of what it means to be Rangers. And to be fair, the man does bleed royal blue. He's a born competitor, a serial winner from his playing days, and if there's one thing he knows, it's the standards that should be demanded every time someone pulls on that shirt. But here's the flip side. We've not won a single game at Ibrox under him. The place has become a haunted house instead of a fortress. And yes, there's been some magic on the road, beating Celtic at their own ground, knocking out Fenerbahce. But do you really hand the reins permanently to a man who's still unproven in the dugout just because he knows the badge? It's a massive call. And with the 49ers takeover looming, it's not just about tactics and results. It's about the statement they want to make. Do they go for a polished foreign manager with a glossy CV and big ideas? Or do they back a club legend who's still finding his feet, but gets what Ibrox demands? And now with Athletic Bilbao arriving for a European quarter-final, the biggest night of our season, Barry's got a chance to silence the doubters and stake his claim the best way possible by winning. If Barry Ferguson wasn't a Rangers legend, if he was just another coach with his current record, would you even be entertaining the idea of giving him the job permanently? Jack Butland, once hailed as a Rolls-Royce signing when he rocked up to Ibrox in the summer of 2023, now he's looking more like a second-hand motor that's lost its shine. What started as a brilliant bit of business has turned into a right dilemma, and Barry Ferguson's now got a big call on his hands. The truth? Butland's performances have nosedived. You saw it against Dundee, flapping at a header like he was swatting a wasp, handing them their second goal on a plate, and that wasn't a one-off. It's been bubbling for weeks now. He's leaked 46 goals in 41 appearances this season, and some of those have been downright avoidable. Yes, he's pulled off some big saves, but for a keeper on Premier League level wages, you expect a lot more than the odd highlight reel moment. And now there's chat from Johnny McFarlane that Butland might sneak his way back to the English top flight as a backup, not even as a starter, a bench warmer, a glove-holding, bib-wearing backup. That tells you everything. We're not just talking about form here, we're talking about trust. If you can't rely on your no on in the crunch moments, especially with a Europa League quarterfinal looming, then what are you doing? There's no margin for error against a side like Athletic Bilbao, and right now Butland is a walking error. So maybe it's time to hand the gloves to Liam Kelly. The lad's been waiting patiently, and with the domestic season essentially done and dusted, 13 points behind Celtic, no cups left, no league to chase, there's absolutely no reason not to give him the nod against Hibs. Give the likes of Kelly and a few of the hungry young lads a proper run-out. Let them show they're ready for the jersey, while the so-called big names get a wake-up call. If Butland's name wasn't Jack Butland, if he was just some journeyman keeper without the Premier League hype, would you still be backing him as Rangers #1? Speaking of Butland, after that latest howler against Hibs, Barry Ferguson didn't bother sugarcoating it. Straight to the point, it's a bad mistake. No excuses, no hiding. And to be fair, he's absolutely spot on. Dylan Levitt's strike should have been routine, a simple stop. But Butland let it slip right through him like a wet bar of soap, gifting Hibs the early lead and killing what little atmosphere was left inside Ibrox. It's the second week in a row he's cost us, first at Dens Park with that spill for Shaughnessy, now this. And Ferguson, he's seen enough. You could feel the frustration in his voice when he said, if people make mistakes, if people don't run as much as I think they should, they're not going to play in my team. That's the type of no-nonsense attitude Ibrox has been crying out for. No more favourites, no more reputations. If you don't pull your weight, you're out. And that has to include Butland now, surely. It wasn't just the mistake. It was the lack of presence, the nervous energy, the absence of leadership. Butland, the man once touted as Premier League class, is now looking like he's in a daze, dragging confidence down with him. And Barry knows it. He didn't say outright that Butland's getting dropped for Thursday, but when a manager says you'll see some changes ahead of a European quarter final, you better believe the axe is being sharpened. Now, Athletic Club are no mugs. They're fourth in La Liga and flying. Ferguson admits he's not watched them much yet, but he knows these are the kind of nights where Ibrox can come alive. Europe's where this team has shown up before. And maybe, just maybe, Thursday's the night for a few others to step up and show they're ready to replace the ones who are letting the side down. If Barry Ferguson drops Jack Butland for the Bilbao match, should it be permanent? Or do you trust him again next week if he pulls off one good performance? Robbie Ure, a name that might not ring out across Europe just yet, but one that still carries weight in the halls of Alkenhowie. A boyhood Rangers fan, born and bred, with Ibrox in his veins and blue in his blood, and now despite stints at Anderlecht and Swedish side Sirius, the lad's made it clear he dreams of coming home. Let's be honest, we've seen this story before. Talented academy lads full of potential drift out the door after failing to crack the first team. Some disappear into football's wilderness. Others, like Ure, go out and take the hard road, and credit to him, he's not moaning, he's not demanding anything. He's just saying it straight. Of course I dream about going back one day, and you know what? That's exactly the sort of mentality Rangers need to build the next era on. He's only 21. Strikers don't truly come into their own until they've weathered a few battles, taken a few knocks, and found their killer instinct. If he bags 15 to 20 goals a season in Sweden, then in Belgium, then wherever else, why shouldn't Rangers bring him back? Especially if some of the current forward line couldn't hit water if they fell out a boat. Rangers have always had a knack for reuniting with lads who get it, who understand what it means to play at Ibrox, to be expected to win every week, to carry the weight of that badge. Ure ticks every one of those boxes. He knows the club, loves the club, and would give everything for the shirt. But it can't just be a heartstring story. He'll need to earn it the hard way. No sentiment, just stats. And here's the thing that really matters. If you're still struggling to find a consistent, ruthless no. 9. By the time Ure hits his mid-20s, do you go shopping for another overpriced punt from abroad? Or do you bring home a lad who's been proving himself elsewhere, who already knows the pressure, the expectations, the standards? Would you rather see Robbie Ure return as a hungry, proven goal scorer who wants to be at Ibrox, or continue recycling failed foreign forwards who've never even heard of the club before signing? If you haven't seen yesterday's video yet, you're missing out. Explosive news about Rangers that'll leave every fan stunned. Go check it out now.